Welcome to Grow Groups at Port City. My name is Chris Alford and I'm the lead pastor here at Port City. I'm so glad that you decided to be with us today. Last week we started an adventure on what it looks like to have ridiculous faith. And we started out talking about ridiculous commitment. That you have to look at Jesus and say, I will follow you wherever you will lead me. That yes, you may never ask me to leave the place where I currently live, work, and play, but you will always ask me to be willing to surrender and make a ridiculous commitment to follow wherever you may lead. Well, today we're continuing the story of ridiculous faith and what the next step looks like. And so we looked at the life of Elisha again. There are 3 kings that go out to battle, but they overextend themselves. And they find themselves without water and without an ability to sustain their army. And so in a desperate plea that none of them were following Jesus with all of their heart, mind, body, and soul. None of them were totally sold out to God, but they knew enough to call God's prophet. And so they call the prophet Elisha. And Elisha comes out, and so they immediately expect Elisha to do them a favor and to call down rain from heaven and just provide water for the whole army. But that's not what happens. God instructs Elisha to tell these kings, to tell all of their men who have not had water, don't have water, who are out in the scorching sun, to begin to dig ditches. And so they begin to dig these ditches out of obedience. No promise of water, just dig ditches. And then overnight, miraculously, the ditches are filled with water. So what does ridiculous faith looks like? Ridiculous faith is obedience even when we don't understand the plan. It's understanding that God does not need you to dig the ditches, but He wants you to obey. Often God calls us to dig ditches in a season of ditch digging in our lives before He sends the answer. Real faith, what we're asking our church to do, Port City, and you in your personal walk, is to believe big. Believe that God will send the rain. Believe that God will overcome the obstacles. Believe that God is going to blow the doors off of our church and we're going to see a revival and we're going to see people come into Christ and we're going to baptize more than we can count and we're just going to see miracles happen in our midst. But oftentimes before the big happens, we have to dig the ditches. So we believe big, but we're willing to obey and start small. So what I'm asking you to do is to believe God's promises, believe that God wants to do exceedingly abundantly above all that you and I could ever ask for or think, but that we would be willing and ready and start by picking up our shovel and digging the ditches and doing what needs to be done. And obey in the small and watch how He rewards with the big. It is God that gives the harvest in your life. It is God that gives the harvest in my life. So dream big. And I don't even know if it's on the study guide this week, but I hope that you'll take a moment as a group and dream big for Port City. Dream big for our city. Dream big for your family. Dream big for your faith. Dream big about what God can do in and through your life. But as part of that ridiculous commitment of last week, be willing to step out in ridiculous faith and begin with the small things. Even when you go, I have no water, it's too hot to dig ditches, obey. And watch how God does the work. You see, God always likes to do the work in a way that brings His name glory. So dream big and start small. May God bless you in your Grow Group. And may you see ridiculous faith being born and birthed in your life, in your group, and at Port City. God bless you. Have a great day.